Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, offer no resistance to one who is evil. When someone strikes you on your right cheek, turn the other as well. If anyone wants to go to law with you over your tunic, hand over your cloak as well. Should anyone press you into service for 1 mile, go for 2 miles. Give to the one who asks of you, and do not turn your back on one who wants to borrow. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your heavenly Father. For he makes the sun rise on the bad and the good, and causes the rain to fall on the just and the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what recompense will you have? Do not the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet your brothers only, what is unusual about that? Do not the pagans do the same? So be perfect, as your heavenly Father is perfect." The Gospel of the Lord. This is a really, really tough reading. To forgive and to forgive even your enemies. But it's a calling to perfection. Be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. And realizing that this is not something natural, it's something supernatural that we're called to. It's something superhuman, to even love your enemies. And you ever notice, like when you choose not to forgive somebody, or when somebody does something evil to you, it just kind of gets you in a bad mood. You're just kind of cranky, you know? And it kind of destroys your day. And then the people that you're around, the people that you love, actually catch the wrath of it. And not the person who does it. Right? It gets us in a bad mood. Whenever we start thinking about somebody that we ought to forgive, but we don't want to, we are holding on to it. But to forgive somebody really brings about a true freedom. But what unforgiveness is, I always give this image of it is, the evil done to us is like this red-hot iron that is pressed to our hand. And we suffer greatly for it. But when we choose to not forgive, we choose to hold on to it. And it's not just being pressed in our head, we're actually choosing to hold on to it. And then we wonder why we're suffering so much. Right? But if we let go, we can be healed. We can be healed of that if we can let go, but we have to trust in Jesus. We have to trust in Jesus for that. Just be able to let go of that suffering and that pain. But the thing is that there's a trick to that suffering, is because, like in a burn, as soon as you get done as soon as you let go, it hurts more. You ever notice that in a burn? Like, you get burnt, and then right after the burn, it hurts more. So when you let go, it's going to hurt more sometimes. And that makes it painful, so that we want to latch onto it. But you got to let go at some point in time to realize and to understand and to trust that Jesus is there to bring us grace, and he will heal us. And it takes real trust, because, if we think maybe this person's going to, do this again, maybe we think this person's going to get by with something. Well, they're not going to get by with anything, because God is the judge. He sees all things. He knows all things. We might think, well, watch out for my judgment. Ooh, I'm going to get back at you. I'm going to smack you back. Well, when you get done smacking back, then there's an end to it. It's finite. But God's wrath is eternal, and that's why it's important to pray for them.
The other thing, I kind of thought about this, like, say if somebody did something really bad to me, and then I wanted to get back to them, and I wanted to get back at them. So say I get back at them. So when it comes times to judgment, where are we at with this? Okay, they did something evil to me. Maybe they merited hell, they're going to go to hell. But now I did something back to them, and now I'm going to go hell too, and I'm going to be with them in hell for the rest of eternity. Where does that leave me with all that? Why would you lash back and then be with them for all eternity in heaven? Or worse yet, some people might consider this worse yet, I get back at them because I got back at them, now they go to heaven and I go to hell. It's a lose-lose situation if you get back at somebody, if you want revenge, if you harbor all this anger and resentment. We don't win. We don't win, and the devil wins, because now we have a bad attitude, and we hurt the people we want to love. So to be able to let go of these suffering, this pain, to be able to give that to Jesus and say, Jesus, I give this to you. I need this healing, so that you yourself can be at peace, and to bring peace to others, and to be a source of peace for others. And that's why we want to forgive. It's the wisdom of God. Humanly speaking, humanity wants to smack the other person back. But that's foolishness in God's eyes. But when we learn to love and to extend that mercy to others, healing happens and reconciliation can happen. What happens when brothers argue and fight? It escalates. Brothers smacking each other back and forth and back and forth. It's a perpetual cycle, smacking each other back and forth, and there's no peace. Some point in time, somebody has to forgive. Somebody has to ask for amends. Peace has to enter in if that cycle of evil has to end. And so we have to be the first one to extend that mercy so that others can enjoy that mercy and that peace can enter into our souls and into the world. And that's that great calling we're called to. This is not human work. This is God's work. Humanity cannot bring about a perpetual justice, let alone mercy. It takes God. It takes His power, and His power on the cross. We look at what He did on the cross for us. That without hope, as He hung upon the cross, He said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Feeling totally abandoned. That all goodness was gone. And yet, at the same time, He cried out, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. To cry out for our mercy, even in the face of all the evil of humanity, He still cries out for mercy. And to know that He did that for us, and that is the power of the cross. And that we can have the peace and true freedom, and a freedom that comes from within. The freedom that only comes with the power of God. To know that it doesn't matter what's going on out there in the world, and no matter what evil we have to endure, the power of God, the power of His peace, the power of His love, the power of His mercy can endure. Because it is an infinite power. It conquers all evil, because evil is finite. And we rejoice in the grace that we have been given. We rejoice that Jesus Christ would come to us today, giving us that very mercy, that very grace on this altar in the Eucharist. That He may empower us to forgive and to be at peace and to live our lives as true Christians. Christians to be a light to the world. And so He invites us to live that incredible life of grace, that incredible life of mercy and of peace and of joy, despite all the evil we encounter. And so we come before this altar rejoicing. Rejoicing, yes, suffering. Dragging our hearts across the floor if we have to, asking our God to have mercy. Praying for the souls, for those who have done evil to us. We come to this altar of mercy that this world may be transformed, that our lives may be transformed.
Hail, thou star of the ocean, portal of the sky, ever virgin mother of the Lord Most High. Oh, by Gabriel's ave, uttered long ago, Eva's name reversing, established peace below. Still as on we journey, help our weak endeavor, till with thee and Jesus we rejoice forever. Through the highest heaven, to thee, Almighty Three, Father, Son, and Spirit, one same glory be. Show thyself a mother, offer him our sighs, who for us incarnate did not thee despise.